Did you see the latest Gary Gensler? Sorry, I'm trying not to throw up. But did you see the latest Gary Gensler live interview? Sorry, Gensler just did a Wells notice, all right? Served a Wells notice to Robinhood. And in that Wells notice, basically what they did was they're saying, we're putting the rubber gloves on, snap, and we are going to do some enforcement action on you. Now, Gary was smug and... Sorry, I'm so nauseous from doing this story. Gary's going to be talking, and I'm going to have a time frame in there for you to skip ahead. But I want you to see how Gary wins even if he loses every single court case. It'll disgust you, but you'll understand why Gary is doing what he's doing, because the results he's getting are disgustingly gross. But good for him. Sup, dudes and chicks? How you all doing on this Tuesday? Look, I had to look at my watch, for real. I had to look at my watch. I didn't even know what fucking day it was. I just got done with like a 6.3 mile run, heat acclimation training. Today was for humidity. It was 92% humidity. I was freaking dead. 6.3 miles of sweat in my butt off. Happy Gardner 64. Why not make it 69? Add a 5 to it. It says, let's not let the presidential election get stolen again. I'm in Michigan. We have Whitler as our governor, who allows voter fraud and draconian policies. She needs to be arrested for treason, along with all the other politicians lining their pockets, Democrats and Republicans. My response was, both sides use this for a piggy bank. It's true. Remember, McHenry on the other side, on the Republican side, threatened Gensler all the time. Oh, don't make a subpoena you. Dude, McHenry, maybe if you would have done something, this could have been the start of putting Gensler on his leash, man. But you didn't. You bitched out. You're a punk. Both sides of the aisle suck balls. Massive balls. But Happy Gardner, let's talk about this, okay? Because the big fear is that what we're going to have here is 4 more years of the same bullshit. Getting nothing done. Bitcoin sitting at 63,842. Gary is going to make you puke. ETH 3078. BNB close to touching 600 at 594. By the way, speaking of touching it, we hit 20,000 subs. Thank you for touching it 20,000 times. Got a little chafing probably. XRP 53.9. XLM still a piece of shit at 11 cents. Melting faces there, comrades. All right, Vlad. While we strive to maintain positive and productive relationships with our regulators, if necessary, we will use our resources to contest this matter in the court. We will use our resources. That means they're going to be spending money. Money that could go to better serving clients. Think about it. Coinbase kept saying that they had problems with handling high volume because it was too expensive, right, to maintain servers. Well, guess what? Coinbase, Robinhood, Ripple, they're all using money to fight the SEC in courts. That could have been money which go to, I don't know, keeping up with high volume server capabilities so that even during peak melting faces time, you could trade that action. But see, that cost is eaten up by court. So even if they win, they still have to pay, which slows down their development, takes away resources, takes away time, and keeps away legitimate traditional finance that wants to get into crypto. Now, Gary, I'm going to share it with you. It was on Squawk Box, CNBC. Happened this morning. Has to do with a little bit of Wells notice action, all right? That's because the Wells notice was served to Robinhood. And even if we all know, yes, all of us watching right now, bro, don't worry, it's going to get to the Supreme Court, bro, and they'll lose. Good. Fucking great. But by then, how much money is wasted on the SEC just proving your point to them that could have gone to making better product development, keeping up with higher capability servers? What about the idea that this money could have gone into better PR related stuff? Instead of being on like the defensive, trying to make yourself look good compared to the SEC, what if this could have been all used for positive stuff? It's endless possibilities. And so while, yes, I get it. Vlad, you're right. Positive, productive relationship with our regulators, but if necessarily, we will use our resources. Basically, we're going to spend our money, and that's how Gary wins. Let's watch the interview. If you want to skip ahead, I will have that listed on the screen now.
Now, right here in Washington for an exclusive interview is SEC Chair Gary Gensler, and we get to see each other in person this morning. It's nice
Good
to see you,
Andrew.
So, one of the things I wanted to ask you is, when you look at the headlines today around what the SEC is doing and what your priorities are, it's hard to tell how much of your focus today is on the stock market writ large versus the world of crypto and trying to figure out the future of Ethereum and other things. How do you see it?
Well, I see it this way. We oversee a $110 trillion capital market. About half of that's the stock market. Half, as you might know, is the bond markets and other markets. Crypto is a small piece of our overall markets, and but it's an outsized piece of the scams and frauds and problems in our markets, because without prejudging any one token, much of this field is non-compliant with the protections of our securities laws. And so thus, you end up with like an outsized ratio of journalist questions and crypto journalists to market cap.
But is that a function also of the fact that that's where your attention is too?
No, it's a function of where your attention is. Think about it. I've been on your show, what, a dozen times? And every show you ask about crypto. And my guessing is this will be a majority crypto interview, while the capital markets are 110 trillion. So it's also about where the financial media is focused.
Well, I want to ask you actually about a whole bunch of things in the classic stock market.
I'm looking forward to it.
But let me ask you this. Vlad Tenev, Robinhood, you delivered a Wells notice to them. I know that you're not going to want to speak directly to them, but I do want to read you, because what's interesting is literally just yesterday he put out a statement effectively attacking you and the SEC. Brian Armstrong from Coinbase said effectively, welcome to the club. I mean, all of this goes on to Twitter.
So that the listeners, the American public, can understand, we have a really important responsibility as being a cop on the beat and ensuring that people that are asking you to put your money in to buy or sell securities are following the law, so you get disclosures, that you get certain protections. And we have live in-court litigation with at least one of those companies, Coinbase, in front of judges at this point in time.
What is the state of play, though, with Robinhood, to the extent that you can discuss it? And for those investors out there who are watching this morning who might have money at Robinhood, what are they supposed to think about these news reports?
Look, I can't speak to any one company, but stepping back from it, the field of crypto assets, without prejudging any one of them, many of those tokens are securities under the law of the land as interpreted by the U.S. Supreme Court. So we follow that law. And you, the investors, are not getting the required or needed disclosures about those assets. And so, like, this is earnings seasons right now, Andrew. Mm-hmm. Everybody's asking about what's the earnings release and how many companies are beating earnings or falling behind and so forth. Where is the disclosures from these crypto tokens similar to these season of earnings releases?
Well, let me ask you this. Ultimately, and I think this is the big question in crypto land right now, is Ethereum a commodity or is Ethereum a security? And therefore, will there one day be an ETF? That's the fundamental question on the table in crypto land. You agree?
Oh, you're the one that's out there asking the questions. All I would say is, to me, the fundamental question is how do we ensure that the American investor is protected? And right now, they're not getting the required or needed disclosures. And the intermediaries in the center of this rather centralized market generally are conflicted and doing things we would never allow the New York Stock Exchange to do. The New York Stock Exchange is not allowed to trade against the investors.
Okay, but let me ask you about this. You've seen the...
So there you have it. If you want to watch this whole thing, it will be linked down below. That is courtesy of CNBC Squawk Box interview that happened this morning. So, I mean, where do you stand with this? Like, I get it, man. Like, I get where the SEC comes from, because not that I agree with what they do, but like if no one's gonna like spank your hand for like doing something wrong, or if you believe what you're doing is right and no one's stopping you, then like aren't you gonna keep doing it? And that's really the whole deal, isn't it? I mean, whether you believe in what you're doing is right or wrong, if you can keep doing it and keep getting away with it, aren't you going to keep doing it and getting away with it? So isn't that the case with Gary Gensler? No one's ever really like called him on his shit. Mick Henry in the House Financial Services, where we're all like, dude, is he going to do something like this? This could be pretty... And then he didn't. I mean, think of all the stuff that's up in the courts right now. It's going to take years to go through this. You know how much money, how much growth is lost in years to paying lawyers? And there's two groups of people I hate the most. And it's not Cubs fans, surprisingly, even though I'm wearing a Sox hoodie. It's not Cubs fans. It's lawyers. And lawyers, if you're watching, I like you, but most of you are ambulance chasers, and that's just the real truth. It's lawyers and politicians, and all politicians suck balls. I mean, for real. Like, what good is getting done? And these politicians out there, whether it's on the Democratic or Republican side, what are any of them doing that don't agree with what Gensler's doing? What are any of them doing that has any teeth? Nothing. So for real, think about it. You get away with doing whatever the fuck you want. Do really naughty shit. Right? I mean, like, really, really naughty shit. Nefarious shit. XXX rated kind of shit. And you could do it and not get in trouble. Not have to pay any consequences. Your friends higher up are going to get your back so you don't feel any heat. Every once in a while, you got to have people yell at you, you know, and like kind of put the face on like, oh, I'm scared, you know, just to kind of give people what they want. But your friends in high places got your back and you just got carte blanche to do whatever the fuck you want. Dude, tell me you wouldn't do the same.